G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, Super Rugby Round 10, Crusaders versus Blues, the bitter rivals. One of the biggest rivalries in Super Rugby, especially in the land of Aotearoa, right? Even the gods of rugby has blessed this game with the perfect New Zealand weather, which is heavy rain with a lot of mud on the field. And this was just absolutely a perfect finish to a grindy, to a physical, to a just, like a messy, kind of just rugby, kind of muddy rugby style of rugby, like the most rugby, stereotypical rugby game you can think of, right? And if you're a forward, and if you're a big fan of the scrums like me, this finish, just the cherry on top, right? Because everybody knows, in the world of rugby, there's nothing worse than losing the game in the final minute to a scrum penalty to your bitter rival, right? And this is what happened to the Blues, and all the faithful fans of the Crusaders will be extremely happy for this massive result that was earned by Fletcher Newell. He already had a penalty leading into this one from a scrum, and I think when the scrum was called, he saw the callings, he saw the heavens above, and he's like, this is mine, and he's done it. He's really done a good job. Now, I know some of you Blues fans will be watching this saying, hey, lots of boring in coming from George Bow on the loose air side, but I think if you really watch the tight air side, the pressure is on, and I think that the Blues has, definitely lost the scrum, regardless of the boring in or not. And you can see right here, I just want to, relive this absolute amazing moment from the man himself, Fletcher Newell, the All Black. Let's have a look at this one, right? Like, is that Taval? Who is this guy? He's already overextended his leg, right? And you can see it's a little bit overextended here. And Fletcher Newell senses it. He puts a squeeze on. He's trying to, lock his leg in so he doesn't get pushed back. And despite locking his leg in, he's actually slipping backwards from the pressure of Fletcher Newell. When you see someone sliding back like that in a scrum, they're flipping done, right? And you can just see sliding back like he's on skis or something. Fletcher Newell absolutely destroyed, and this is just pure power and pure size. Beautiful. Beautiful finish to a tough rivalry game. And I think the Crusader fans will be happy to be in the ring and witnessing this just incredible scrum. I just want to watch this again. Just watch out who was it? Let's get the Blues guy out. Who was it? Mason Tupaia. Just watch how he's just sliding back from the relentless pressure from the Crusader scrum. Like, he's just locked his leg in and just sliding back like he's on skis, right? Oh my goodness. That is so brutal. That is so good. The finest finish of a rugby match you can dream of. And Blues also kicked this one through was James O'Connor, Rabbit himself, always with good, reliable goal kicker with his good technique. And I think the Crusaders fans will be really, really happy about this one. This surely got me very excited at the end. And so this game overall, classic Kiwi contest, lots of rain. Despite the rain, there weren't actually that many, that many handling errors, surprisingly. But the kicking game was a bit of a struggle. I think there was a bit windy out there. Like there was a few times where the Crusaders just didn't find touch, and Bowden Barrett was struggling with finding finding target from his goal kicking a little bit. So the rain was a bit of an issue, but overall this was just came down to classic muddy style rugby where two big forepads just went head on head, bumping shoulders, and this was brutal. Both teams struggled a little bit going into the game with two areas that I thought from previous games were breakdown, contesting the breakdown. Both teams started the season a little bit weak in that front, and they both just really hammered down that breakdown. The Blues got better last week, and Crusaders as well got better last week with their breakdown contest, and this week both of them just absolutely drilled each other in the breakdowns. The Blues, however, I thought was a little bit smarter with delaying the breakdown by holding players, trying to hold players up. Amua Levi Almua was held up a couple times by the Blues, and just something that I think the Crusaders didn't really do. But in terms of just actual physical contest, I thought the Crusaders and matched the Blues just big swings for big punches in that regards. But yeah, I thought the Blues were a little bit more clever in terms of disrupting those breakdowns with holding the player up. The line out was pretty bad for the Crusaders, despite on paper seemingly they have the All Blacks hooker, All Blacks lock, and they really struggled with the line out. There was when the Blues were contesting, the Crusaders lost a number of their own lineouts as a result. Maybe the slippery conditions had a little bit to do with it, but the Crusaders lineouts were definitely on the losing end as well. And in terms of attacking, both teams reluctant to go a bit wide. Will Jordan has had some opportunities to almost fill in as a second playmaker with a bit of a kicking game, but overall it's just like a lot of forwards, a lot of physicality, just pick and go, keeping everything tight and trying to ram themselves over with maybe that bit of a with that slippery conditions, that's a bit of an advantage just to wiggle yourself over the advantage line sort of style. And very, very grindy trench warfare style tonight. And it was surprising that both teams as well didn't just go straight for the penalties. As soon as it was, we got a penalty, just kick it. Both teams backed themselves to go for the lineups, especially the Blues. Something that criticized them recently, I saw just in a few games ago, that just going for the penalties. They went for the lineouts, even though it didn't work out the first couple times. They backed themselves a number of times, despite the lack of accuracy early on, and it paid off for them. Paid off for them to claw them. They were behind for half time and then claw themselves back because of that. That intensity, that confidence they built early in the game, knowing that, hey, in the wet conditions we can still execute. They backed themselves and they actually got themselves back into a position to potentially win this game, despite being down for a bit of the game, for pretty much most of the game actually. So with that being said, ultimately it came down to the scrummaging. Fletcher Newell, I think he deserves a big meat pie tonight. Amazing, just stayed on the field the full game. He played full 80 minutes and he already had a scrum penalty early in this in the second half, and I think the coaches realizing that he had a definite advantage in the scrum and just kept him on for the full game. And sure enough, he paid off. Last minute, got the scrum. It's raining and slippery. Anything could happen, and he gets the scrum and gets the win for the team. The referee performance, Nick Berry, I thought it was not really that clinical, to be honest. It was a number of clear mistakes. Like I think some of the commentary has pointed out, Levi Almura was being held up for a maul, and then the referee said his knees were touching the ground, but he clearly wasn't. Stuff like that wasn't, not really the most accurate. I understand that it's slippery, maybe it's a bit messy out there, hard to see, but I think the referee, should be a little bit better than that, to be honest. But overall, nothing too crazy from the referee, in my opinion. Everyone makes a bit of mistakes here and there, but it didn't really ruin the game in any way, in my opinion. So anyway, let's have a look at the match stats of the game. Crusaders 3 tries, Blues 3. 130 run minutes with Crusaders for the Blues, 304. Crusaders really tried to manage the kicking game, especially late in the second half. Really, wasn't able to exit clean. Just kind of just like kicking the ball till halfway, and then the Blues just run the ball back in and start, rinse and repeat back in the front foot again. 11 turnovers conceded by the Crusaders, 20 against the Blues. So there's a lot of defense for the Crusaders, and the Blues wasn't able to capitalize a lot of that opportunities into more points. 183 tackles made by the Crusaders, 22 missed tackles. Blues 73 tackles made, only had to miss 6 tackles. So a lot more running for the Blues, a lot more tackling for the Crusaders. 27 kicks in play for the Crusaders to the 23 for the Blues. 2 missed goals for the Crusaders, 2 missed goals for the Blues as well. Beauden Barrett has become the second highest scoring Super Rugby player in history tonight, kicking over 1,500 points, and he's just behind Dan Carter. I think Dan Carter's like 1,700, still a couple hundred points away. I mean, if Beauden stick it out another 2-3 seasons, he might get there. Is it a couple hundred? I don't know. It's definitely still quite a bit of distance away from Dan Carter, but I didn't think that Beauden was going to be second in the leaderboard at any point. Any point. I didn't think he was going to get there in his career, because he, at the beginning I thought he might, but then he kind of went over to Japan and all that sort of stuff. I didn't think he was going to make there, but it's getting close. It's getting close to the number 1 rank. 708 kicking meters from the Crusaders and 560 for the Blues. The Blues just didn't have to kick so much because they were able to just get the ball halfway and start running it back at you again. Lineouts, here's the thing. I think we'll just refresh this. Yeah, 11 lineouts play for the Crusaders, 3 lost. The Blues 15 and 1 loss for the Blues. 1 scrum loss for the Crusaders, 1 scrum loss for the Blues, and then the scrum penalty obviously at the end for the Crusaders really paid off for them for the win. 9 penalties considered for the Crusaders, really well disciplined. The Blues not too bad either considering the wet conditions. 11 penalties conceded overall, and overall a very, very tight, trench warfare game out there tonight. So yeah, let's have a look at some of the points, a quick summary. So yeah, 2 minutes into the game, I think there was a stolen line out from the Crusaders, and then Noah Hotham kind of looked up and darts through a gap in front of him around the rocks. The Crusaders got really close, lots of pick and drive, and big Tamati Williams crashed over with some help from behind into the corner. 7 points to nil for the Crusaders. 23 minutes into the game, the Crusaders already starting to struggle with their exit. And in fact, the Crusaders' exit got better as soon as James O'Connor was on the field. So maybe they have to consider that. They really probably have to consider James O'Connor to be on the field earlier, because the Crusaders was struggling with the exit. They couldn't for the whole game pretty much. So yeah, they couldn't get exit. So the Blues kind of like partying in. Lots of pick and draw, lots of physicality from the forwards. Eventually, Futsi Tua pick and go gets the try for the Blues. 7 points to 7 level in the scoreboard. And then after this, there was a penalty going for the Blues, and there was a wrong penalty given against the Crusaders for Levi Mora not being on the ground. It was more, and then referee said he was on the ground, so it was wrong decision there. But the Beauden Barrett missed the kick. 31 minutes in the game. The Crusader, Noah Hotham, is it Hotham that did the kicking? Missed the kick. Kemena missed the kick. I'm sorry. Anyway, so they missed the kick there. 31 minutes, the Blues had a penalty as well, and Beauden Barrett misses one, so 2 missed kicks for both teams. Just before halftime, the Crusaders really wanted to get some points on the ball, so they had repeated penalties in front of the goal line for the Blues. The clock is in red, and then the Crusaders kept themselves pushing. Eventually, lots of pressure, center field, and the ball went out to David Havili. David Havili, bit of a double pump, draw the defenders out a little bit too far, and then over the top to Will Jordan for the try. 14 points to 7, half time. Second half, 40 minutes in the second half, the Crusaders all in the front foot, lots of physical crash balls, lots of physicality. Eventually, Christian Willie crashed over for the try, 19 points to 7. 58 minutes into the game, the Blues getting themselves back, rolling on the board with more physicality. Hoskins Tutu is the one with got the ball, and nice and low body height from the big fella, goes over for the try, 19 points to 14. 63 minutes in the game. This one was, again, the Blues were just pounding the Crusaders try line. Hoskins Tutu got the ball, just didn't like back flick pass, and everybody's like, what are you doing? He looked like just throwing the ball away, but it was actually the perfect pass. He bounced on the ground for AJ Lamb, who just ran through a little gap for the try. Just worked. 19 points to 19. Beauden missed this one. And 67 minutes of the game. Again, the Crusaders were not struggling to exit. Beauden Barrett, the Blues get a penalty, around the 40-meter mark, and Beauden Barrett kicked this one to tick himself over 1,500 points and become the second highest scorer in Super Rugby. Point scorer in Super Rugby history, 19 points to 22. 72 minutes into the game, Fletcher Newell gets a massive scrum penalty. And the Crusaders kick this one, 22 points to 22. James O'Connor kicked this one, and finally, 80 minutes into the game, there was again, I think there was it a knock on? I think it was a knock on, but or was it? I think it was a knock on. Maybe it was a more. But then yeah, scrum, big penalty, Fletcher Newell, and big win. James O'Connor kicked the ball over. Tough moment, tough game, and perfect New Zealand conditions. Big celebrations all around for the faithfuls at Christchurch. And that's the game. 25 points to 22. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thought about the scrum. I really enjoyed it. And did you enjoy it as much as I did? And thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys later for more reviews. Cheers.